Hello everyone and welcome to another Let's Play of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. My name is Anna Mardell and we are about to continue part 2 of this case where we have an imposter. Oh, I see. I guess I should have expected this. Nobody saw the other guy, huh? But he was there when I took the coffee over, sir. Scout's honor. Maggie! Ah! Detective Gumshoe! Are you doing alright? How you feeling? As if you need to ask either question, sir. Don't let him get you down, Maggie. And don't forget to eat well, okay? Roger! And you! Yes? You'd better square this case away. Got it, pal? Maggie's innocent, you hear? If you screw up, then I'll be doing some squaring away myself. Squaring away some paperwork for your arrest. I think he's serious. Hey, detective! You're on our side for once, right? Yep. So you'll be able to help Maggie out, right? Really? Can you, sir? Of course. I've got the situation under control. I'm going to be the first witness on the stand today. If something I say doesn't mesh with the facts, you make sure you point it out, alright? Sure. Okay, we're forming a united front today, pal. You get me? Oh. I can't tell you how grateful I am, sir. I've always admired you so much, detective. I know I can count on you. Looks like it should all go pretty smoothly today, huh? I can only wish. Court is now in session for the trial of Maggie Beard. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Ah, bitter. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? What's wrong? Nothing, it's just... Whenever I addressed you in the previous trial, your response was, "You was talking to me?" It was a little, well, intimidating. No, that wasn't me. That was the phony Phoenix. I see. So our trusty Phoenix Wright is back with us now, is he? Our trusty? That's sweet. So, Mr. Godot, your opening statement, please. Mr. Wright. Whether you're a fake or the real deal, we will find out soon enough through this trial today. But I already can tell you! I'm the real Phoenix Wright! I wasn't questioning whether you were Phoenix Wright or not. I was questioning whether you had studied law or not. That's what I intend to find out. Okay? There's no denying it. Behind that mask is a man who really hates me for some reason or another. As everyone is aware, the court has already given its verdict on this case once. Therefore, I won't stand for irrelevant testimony during this retrial. Nor will I stand for a simple repetition of evidence presented in the last trial. I'm not planning on repeating anything that phony me said. Trust me. Now then, Mr. Godot, please summon your first witness. Let's start with the formalities, shall we? Name and occupation. Witness, state your name for the court. Huh? Oh, sorry, sir. The name's Police Department Detective. Occupation, Dick Gumshoe. Other way around, detective. Huh? Oh, sorry. Anyway, I'm the officer in charge of this case since yesterday, sir. Since yesterday? Oh, hang on just a second. Okay, sorry about that. My parents came over unexpectedly. Alright. Since yesterday? Yeah, the guy who was on the initial investigation is tied up with another case now. I hope Gumshoe's really got everything under control, for everyone's sake. I mean, I feel like our previous guy was probably worse in the sense that, he didn't notice that the lawyer in charge of the case was very clearly not me. Although I don't know if he would care. It seems like they just supposedly just want a conviction, so...
I see. So, Detective Gumshoe, would you outline for the court the basic facts of this case?
Yes, sir. The victim's name was Glenn Elk. He was a professional programmer. He was on the payroll of Blue Screens Inc., a local company.
Blue Screens Inc.? Really? Really?
Don't think I want to buy from a place called Blue Screens Inc. This is the victim's autopsy report.
The court accepts this into evidence.
Died of potassium cyanide poisoning. Time of death was between 1:30 and 2:30 p.m. You'd think they could narrow it down more than that since they know exactly when he drank the thing. Here are the floor plans of the restaurant. When the incident took place, the victim was sitting right here. Okay, so if the perpetrator was here and the old man was like here, it would make sense that he didn't see him if there's a partition. Similarly, from the kitchen, you would be able to see here but not here. Poison coffee was brought over to him by the waitress.
The waitress being the accused.
Yeah. The victim died from poisoning almost immediately after he took a sip of the coffee. At the time of the incident, there were 2 other people in the restaurant. Mr. John Armstrong, the owner-in-chief, chef, sorry, today's been stressful, and a regular by the name of Mr. Victor Kudo.
It still seems to be a very straightforward case to me. Come, detective, take up this hammer and nail the defendant's coffin shut with your own 2 hands. Now then, Detective Gumshoe, let's have your testimony. Yes, sir.
When the incident took place, the victim was alone at his table, sir. Why does he keep saying that? We don't know that. We understand that the guy, Glenn Elk, was listening to the radio at the time. Traces of poison were found in his coffee cup. And what we found was potassium cyanide. That stuff really packs a punch. And, it looks like Miss Beard might have had, well, some kind of motive.
Using the dark, aromatic depths of coffee to conceal the poison. Classy lady. The facts of this case seem to be ironclad. Mr. Wright, I would ask you to begin your cross-examination, but... Yes? Please, no intimidation tricks this time around. Is that understood? I already told you that wasn't me! Okay, first of all, we're gonna press on that. Can I stop you for just a moment?
Huh? What is it? Did I say something that contradicts the evidence?
He's so desperate for that to be true. He's practically crying.
Your testimony just now doesn't match the testimony given by Miss Beard. She claims that there was another man at the victim's table. Yeah, that's what she said. And
What killer wouldn't say that when faced with a homicide conviction?
Hey!
Sadly, her testimony isn't supported by the owner or the other customer. Isn't that right, Detective Gumshoe?
Cookie. Cookie, no. No. Cookie, stop doing that. Thank you. We do not stand and rub our paws on the picture.
Yeah, it's true. There are 2 testimonies tied up on that. They both said there was no other guy at the table. What should I do? Should I press on this point a little harder or not?
Well, maybe the other witnesses just missed him. Perhaps their view of the victim's table was obscured in some way.
Huh. That argument is as weak as the coffee at the at Trebian trait. I have here in my possession a ticket.
A ticket? Looks more like a photo to me.
Yes, a one-way ticket to Guiltyville. Population, the defendant.
Okay. Well, that does look like an empty chair.
This is a photograph, taken from near the entrance to the kitchen. This is the scene witnessed by the chef, moments after the poisoning took place. Oh, sorry, that was the judge. This is the scene as witnessed by the chef, moments after the poisoning took place? I think the corporal agreed. It was such a clear view of the scene of the crime. How, Mr. Trite, could anyone have overlooked a second person at the table?
I mean, if the chair was a few inches over?
It certainly seems to show the victim's table extremely clearly.
I guess he could have been standing behind the partition if he stood up. Listening to the radio. He was listening to his radio, you say? Yeah, he had a portable radio in his chest pocket. Maggie told us that too, didn't she? Something about how one of them had some sort of earpiece. I don't know what to do with that. I should leave it alone. I've got a bad feeling where this is going. I once had a bad feeling that I was about to have a bad feeling.
Thank you.
Traces of poison were found in his coffee cup. The traces of poison were found in the coffee cup and nowhere else? I'm not sure I get you, pal. Was the poison a liquid, or was it a powder? If I had to put it in layman's terms, I'd say it was a powdery substance. So the poison could have been on anything that was on the table. Sugar, salt, pepper.
Do you put salt and pepper in your coffee, Wright?
The victim took his coffee black. No sugar.
It seems the poison could only have been in the coffee.
But where did it come from? Did you find it on her person? Are you absolutely certain the victim even drank any of his coffee? Yeah, what do you mean? According to this file, the poison was found in the victim's coffee cup. But what proof is there that the victim drank any of it? Oh, hey, you're right. That's what I was thinking.
In case you were wondering, the last objection was for the detective there. Huh? For me? Oh, hey, you're right. You may be fooling the court, but I'm not falling for it. If you have time to waste, you have time to present that piece of evidence. That piece, sir? Yes, that piece.
What piece was it again?
This.
Should I be grateful this coffee's only hot enough to give me first-degree burns? Oh, now I remember. This is the, victim's coffee cup.
Yes, the victim's cup. Take a good look at the rim. Oh yes, it's unmistakable. There is clearly a coffee stain on it. Conclusive proof that the victim did drink the poisoned coffee that was in his cup. The victim gulped down the coffee like this.
Jesus.
For the record, the only prints on the cup were the victims and the defendants. Upon further investigation of the cup, we found a certain chemical substance. And what we found was potassium cyanide.
I've heard of that chemical before. Is that what Dahlia used? Exactly how strong is this poison, Detective Gumshoe? Well, that stuff's lethal. Eat too much in your history. How much is too much?
A lethal dose is 0.2 grams. That's enough to finish anyone off.
0.2 grams? How much is that? You know when you swab your ears for earwax? About that much.
Earwax, huh? Sounds like something a Gumshoe's got an abundance of. Such a small quantity of poison could have been concealed anywhere.
Some kind of a motive? Yeah, but if you ask me, it's been blown way out of proportion.
You know what my golden rule is, Detective. Chuck out a bad cup of coffee. You can always get another.
Huh? I don't get it.
I'm saying we can always get another witness on the stand if we have to chuck you out. So stick to the facts, Detective. What was Miss Beer's motive?
Come on, Gumshoe. They say she wanted to steal a lottery ticket. I knew it. That's what we heard yesterday, too. It disappeared from the scene of the crime.
And it wasn't just any lottery ticket. It was a winning ticket for $500,000.
Mr. Armstrong knew about the ticket, too, didn't he? But he stole the wrong one. Then is it possible Maggie stole the winning one? What should I do? Should I press on this point a little harder or not? I'd say press harder. Wait a minute! The mere fact that the lottery ticket disappeared in no way implicates my client!
Huh. I have here in my hand the very ticket in question. That's the $500,000 lottery ticket?
One of the female police officers found it when she was conducting a search of the defendant. What? Why did no one mention this? Order, order! Maggie should have told us!
Ha! She's quite a lucky bird, our little waitress. You will submit that ticket as evidence to the court immediately. I'd better keep an eye on that ticket, the way the judge's voice is quivering. This ticket was presented to the court in a previous trial, too. But it feels heavier now, somehow. $500,000, you say? You didn't know that? It's just a scrap of paper. What matters is where it was found, Your Honor.
And that's on Maggie's person, unfortunately.
That's enough. The facts of this case seem overwhelmingly clear to me. The defendant had ample opportunity to commit the crime of which she is charged. Furthermore, it seems beyond reasonable doubt that she did indeed commit this crime. I like an old man who knows the score. There is also the matter of this $500,000 lottery ticket. That alone provides a very credible motive.
But what, she just carries poison around with her all the time?
I mean, for that sum of money, even I might be tempted to bend the rules. I don't mind an old man who is weak to the siren call of money.
I do? Not good, Nick. The evidence against Maggie is starting to pile up fast.
That's because the court has ruled guilty once already. I'd say it's about time to wrap up this repeat performance with one final, decisive piece of evidence.
He's got more evidence against Maggie?
This is the apron the delightful Miss Beard was wearing at the time.
Wow, that's not the cleanest apron I've ever seen. That stain looks like... it can't be blood, can it?
Huh. It seems the star of our play was a little flustered. And somehow spilled coffee on herself.
The coffee? That's not exactly the first thing that caught my eye.
Of course, the coffee stain isn't the most interesting thing about the apron. No, there's something else that stands out even more. Something else? I presume you mean... Of course, I'm referring to the pocket.
The pocket?
A search carried out right after the incident uncovered this. Potassium cyanide, the very poison used by the killer, was in her apron pocket.
A bottle of poison in Maggie's pocket? Yeah, and Maggie's prints were the only one on it. What? Order, order! The court will accept these items into evidence. There's something still bothering me, Mr. Godot.
Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court? Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be?
Don't play games, prosecutor! The blood-colored stain that smeared all over the apron!
That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain.
Is he not able to see the color red? His visor's red. Maybe he can't see red. You don't need to be told. Just look at it. Well, detective, could this stain really be blood? No way, sir. It's just ketchup, sir. Ketchup? She must have gotten some on her apron while taking someone their breakfast that day. You could have spoken up a little sooner, Detective Gumshoe.
Pull a stunt like that again, and I'll have you drink 17 cups of ketchup, witness.
I thought everyone knew what it was already.
I haven't seen anything yet to make me doubt the ruling I made on this last case. The motive, the opportunity, and the supporting evidence all have been clearly established. Well tried. It seems you really are a phony after all.
You really know how to drive a man nuts.
Witness, please continue with your testimony. Describe for the court the crime scene and the findings of your investigation there.
The crime was reported at 2:25 by kind of a scary old man, sir. Poor Maggie had passed out from the shock. It must have been real tough for her. The victim didn't have any identification on him, but we figured out who he was pretty quick, and the investigation went smoothly. When Maggie was searched, we found the lottery ticket and the bottle of poison. And that was it. There was nothing else missing from the crime scene.
You identified the victim and secured your prime suspect. Very good. Last chance to convince the court you're a real lawyer, Wright. Don't count on any more cross-examinations after this one, so let the fun begin.
How did they identify him? Wait a second. Yeah? Did I say something dumb again? let me paraphrase what you just testified to this court. The victim didn't have any form of ID on him. That's what you said, yes? Yeah, basically. In that case, how were you able to identify him quickly? Oh, that. He's so let down. He's got the whole sagging shoulders and puppy eye thing going. There was a prescription bag on the victim's table, along with the lottery ticket.
It seems Mr. Glenn Elg visited his doctor before he went to Trevion.
We got the victim's name from the medical records of the doc who prescribed the meds.
That's a reliable enough source for the court.
What should I do? What was in it? What sort of medicine was in the bag? Well, actually, the bag we found was empty.
Huh?
Yeah, completely empty.
It was completely empty? Huh. You're entering an empty paper bag as evidence. Desperate are you, Wright? Now, what happened with the investigation after that, detective?
Well, wait a second.
There was nothing else missing, except what was in the prescription bag?
Detective Gumshoe, I think I should point something out to you. There is just one small contradiction in your testimony. Oh, finally! I'm getting all anxious just waiting, so hurry up, will you? You testified that nothing else was missing from the crime scene. However, the prescription bag you mentioned was empty. Did the officers recover the medicine from the scene of the crime later? No, they didn't. The victim was given a prescription right before going to Trevian. Where then did the medicine disappear to? You are too cool, pal!
Indeed. Due consideration wasn't given to the victim's prescription in the previous trial. Witness, why do you always overlook such vital pieces of evidence?
I guess that's the most careless thing I've done so far, huh? The victim was killed by poison, and the victim's medicine mysteriously disappeared. The victim's own prescription could have been the lethal poison itself.
Order, order. Well, Mr. Godot, what do you have to say to that? Huh. That's all.
What?
Read for the court the name of the clinic on the prescription bag, if you will.
What's the clinic's name got to do with anything? New Ear Otolaryngological Clinic. Otolaryngological Clinic? Isn't that ear, nose, and throat doctors? And he was listening to a radio.
Just what kind of illness was the victim suffering from, Mr. Godot? Hardly an illness, Your Honor. More like a bitter war wound, you could say. A war wound? The day before the incident, Mr. Elg found himself in a fight. He took a blow to the side of the head and ruptured his eardrum.
He ruptured his eardrum?
Then what on earth was the prescription he was given? It was a cream that was to be applied topically inside his ear canal, not ingested.
What? He was listening to a radio?
It's mentioned in his autopsy report, if you read it in the fine print. They found traces of the medication in the victim's left ear. Yes, here it is, in very, very fine print. It seems Mr. L correctly applied some of his medication while he was at Trevian. Therefore, it would be absurd to believe he would have eaten his medication. It seems that the medication is irrelevant to the case after all.
No! Nick! If you don't think of something quick, it'll be over! She's right, but I can't get away with any weak objection. What should I do? Where's the tube? Only moments ago, Mr. Godot made the following statement. Mr. L correctly applied some of his medication while he was at Trevian. If that's the case, why was the medication not found at the scene of the crime?
But the medication in question was for topical use inside the ear canal.
That doesn't change the fact that it could not be found at the crime scene. However insignificant it may seem, it's a lawyer's duty to pursue the truth.
You know as well as I do, the medication is irrelevant. It hardly seems likely that a prescription drug would contain potassium cyanide.
It hardly seems likely that the coffee the waitress served would contain it either. But it did. The possibility is undeniable.
Ugh. That's enough. Mr. Godot, is the detective the only witness the prosecution wishes to call? Mr. Godot?
I've got my own witness I'd like to call, sir. It's the old man who was there in the restaurant on the day of the murder.
Victor Kudo? The pigeon hater? Very well. The matter of the disappearing medication seems little more than trivial at best. However, it wasn't explored at all in the previous trial, and that is something that bothers me.
Yay! Good job, Nick!
The court will adjourn for a 10-minute recess, after which we will hear the prosecution's next witness. Huh. I suppose this means I'll just have to finish you off in my last 6 cups. Court is adjourned for recess. I have to go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back, okay?
And I'm back. Okay. So here we are, back at district court. After recess. Phew, that was close. Tell me about it. I nearly died in there. That's my line, sir! No, it's my line! I think I really did die a little bit. Looks like we all nearly died in there. I can't believe Detective Gumshoe! How could he betray us like that? Huh? He said he'd help me, but he totally set me up. I don't think he meant to do that, Maggie. He was backed into a corner. I mean, the guy's got to do his job, right? It's okay. I know all about lies and betrayal. I've had them my whole life. But it really hurt this time. It felt like someone punched me hard in the stomach. I hate that guy. I don't ever want to see him again. Poor Gumshoe. So the next witness is going to be that old guy from the park, right?
Yeah, Mr. Kudo, lover of waitress outfits and projectile seeds.
I bet he's going to be really stubborn. I mean, he's pretty set in his ways, you know. Yeah, he's a big old grouch. Are you going to be able to handle him, Nick?
Yeah, I can take whatever he throws at me, even those never-ending bird seeds.
Why don't we just have Mia question him? I mean, I'm just saying.
Court will now reconvene for the trial of Maggie Beard. Mr. Godot, your next witness, please. The prosecution calls the lucky old-timer who caught the show over a cup of coffee. Will the witness please take a stand? Name and occupation, if you don't mind.
The name is Victor Kudo, born and bred in the land of the rising sun. Honor and duty are what make me. Mind you, I can be quite emotional at times too.
We don't need to hear about that, Mr. Kudo. Just tell the court your occupation.
My occupation? Ha! Listen, young man. How much call do you think there is for kimono embroidery here?
Kimono embroidery?
That's what I do, or did back in Japan. I embroidered family crest on kimonos. My ancestors were embroidering kimonos before this country even existed.
Wow, a real craftsman. They're a dying breed. Hey, maybe he could embroider my costume sometime.
Anyway, like I said, there's not much demand for that kind of thing here. So I had to take a job working the cash register at a burger joint, pretending to smile.
That burger joint would have been better off putting him in the kitchen. Now then, witness, were you in the restaurant at the time of the incident?
Oh yes, I was eating some seeds over a cup of Javachino.
Seeds?
What do you think these are?
I see. So you saw everything that happened, Gramps?
Did I? Oh, yes, I did. I saw it all.
Then please, tell the court. We're all ears.
Sure. I'll tell you. I'll tell you every last detail.
He's really getting into this.
The young man was reading the sports paper. The servant girl brought him a Jabatino. She put something in it. Is that Maggie or is that the girl we saw with the bandaged head? The man took one sip of it, looked like he was in terrible pain, and then collapsed. That's the servant girl, there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well.
Mr. Kudo, she is not a serving girl. Please refer to her as a waitress.
Kah! You're as bad as the rest of them. All these newfangled words. What's wrong with old-fashioned ones,
Newfangled?
All this talk of radios and glasses. It's wireless and spectacles, I tell you.
Excuse me?
Listen to me, everyone. Don't forget the old values. Don't let the good old days slip away.
Well, I think it's time to begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor.
That part is true. You said, I remember her well, in reference to the waitress. Did she have any particular features you can identify her by? Particular features? It's a disgrace, that's what it is.
Sorry?
You can see all the way up to her, you know. She's practically naked in that uniform.
So the particular feature you recognize about the waitress is her outfits? Anyone could wear such a uniform, even me! Mr. Wright, please spare the court any further mental anguish from that image.
Don't get all excited, Nick. You've got to keep yourself together. I got a bit carried away. There are other things I recognize about her, too.
He seems pretty sure of himself. What should I do?
Sure, you saw a waitress take the coffee over to the victim. But what matters is whether that waitress was Maggie Beard or not.
Quite right. Mr. Kudo, these other features you recognize about the defendant, I would ask you to add them to your testimony.
Sure. There was a ribbon in her hair, and her apron straps were loose.
You do seem to remember several details about her appearance. What about the most crucial detail of all, her face?
As if I wouldn't remember that.
The witness noticed the straps on the accused apron. He's unlikely to make a mistake about her face.
That's right. I can even tell you the color of the ribbon in her hair. It was red.
So you see, there's nothing wrong with the witness's eyesight.
There's no doubt he remembers the waitress pretty well. What should I do? I get the feeling there's something more to this somehow. The identifying features you described are all things you would see from the back. So what? Is it possible that you never saw the waitress from the front at all?
Objection!
He's got you there, Gramps.
People normally talk about facial features when they're asked to describe someone. But this witness's testimony is nothing but straps and ribbons. This is harassment. I tell you I'm not obsessed with straps and ribbons. I'm just telling you what I saw.
Mr. Kudo, the court requests that you add details about any identifying features. Features you observed from the front, that is, to your testimony.
Sure.
This old man's testimony is getting longer and longer. If I can't find a hole in it soon, it'll get even longer.
wasn't anything that caught my interest about her when I saw her from the front. What about the apron being filthy and or bloody?
Objection!
Mr. Kudo, I would like you to please take a look at this. That filthy thing would suit filth like you just perfectly. Actually, it reminds me of what my grandson looks like just after he's done eating. Have you ever seen this before? Of course I haven't! Do you think I'd forget something as dirty as that? Will, you half-witted clot! What? What is it? Ever since I said you half-witted clot, there's been an eerie silence in here. Mr. Kudo, this apron is the apron worn by the defendant on the day of the poisoning. Huh? And as you just said yourself, you wouldn't forget something like this. Which means if you had really seen this apron before. Yes, you know what I'm getting at. You couldn't have possibly seen the waitress from the front. Oops. What? Oops? Witness, you can't just oops your way out of this.
Huh. Well. Looks like we finally have a genuine trial on our hands.
Who's sliding coffee down to him? He's not out of... There's no barista in the coffee room, is there? Or in the courtroom?
Listen, Wright, here are the facts. On the day of the incident, there was only one waitress in the restaurant. That being the defendant, Miss Maggie Beard? Exactly. And when that one waitress put the poison into the coffee cup, this old guy was watching. I hope you understand the gravity of the situation, Mr. Kudo. The fate of the defendant may rest on what you say you remember seeing. Just tell the court exactly what you saw, Gramps.
You can rely on me, Captain. My noggin's in perfect working order. I can't remember a single occasion when I forgot what burger a customer wanted. He can't remember? Probably like he's messed up so many times he's blocking it out.
Very well. Let's test just how good your memory and attention to detail is, Mr. Kudo. Tell us what you remember about the victim.
He was another of those pesky young types, wearing a broken pair of spectacles. He had a newspaper in his right hand, and the noisy brat kept rustling its pages. The young man was listening to the wireless. I remember that well. Then the serving girl in question brought over the Javatino. The little fidget picked up the cup with his free hand and took a sip.
The testimony we have heard was to test how credible the witness's memory is. It seems to me he remembers the victim in a great deal of detail.
Oh yes, I hate those you-know-what types who are so vague about everything. How are we going to handle this, Nick?
We only need to do one thing. We just need to prove the old man's memory is shot.
Just trip him up, you mean? Isn't that kind of cruel?
I suppose, but it's what I do best.
He was wearing half glasses, which I guess what he means by broken spectacles. He did have a newspaper. He was listening to a radio. With his free hand, with his left hand. And that always is some kind of... Okay. So that's important. Right hand, left hand, just like right door, left door. If he was drawing with his... right hand, then you draw it in the left corner, probably. So that checks out. if you were... There's a coffee cup. If you were sipping the coffee cup, then you would pick it up with your right hand in order to leave that sip mark. So that checks out too. Wait. Both were right hand? Right hand, sip. Right. And he says free hand with left hand. Okay, so... okay. Alright, so... I don't see why this matters, but he is wrong about which hand... Mr. Kudo, do you remember what you were told at the start of this testimony? That this was a way of testing the credibility of your memory. I know! There's nothing wrong with my memory, I tell you, nothing! If I got anything wrong, I'll eat these seeds and sing the pigeon song. Care to tell us where this is going, Wright? According to Mr. Kudo, the victim was holding the paper in his right hand, while drinking coffee with his free hand, which would make that his left. What is this, kindergarten? But I would like the court to please take a look at this.
That's the cup the victim used, correct?
Yes, and on the rim you'll notice the mark left by the victim's lips.
Yes, there is a stain left by the coffee.
If you consider where that stain is, you'll clearly see the victim was holding the cup in his right hand.
But how?
Well, Mr. Kudo, the court is waiting for your epic performance. You said you'd eat those seeds and sing the pigeon song. Ah!
Mr. Kudo, I'm afraid this is simply not acceptable. I think the witness had better go back to the park where he came from.
Wait! If you think I'm going to stand here and listen to you tell me I'm mad, you're wrong. I don't care about that dirty coffee cup. I know what I saw.
You still insist on your testimony?
That young brat was holding a cup in his left hand. Oh yes, no question. I'm a good law-abiding citizen, I am. It's that dead young hot bot and you spiky yahoo who are at fault.
Who, me? Thank you, old man. We've heard quite enough from you already.
Don't call me old man. Been around for 68 years I have. You can't ignore me. Listen to what I've got to say.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, but
why not hear a little more?
Mr. Godot! This is my 16th cup of coffee. So this is your final stand.
Thank you, Captain. You can rely on Victor. The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. He kept fiddling with it all the time. He was fiddling with it just before he picked up the cup, too. And then he used the same hand to pick up the cup. His left hand.
We know the victim was wearing an unusual monocle over his left eye. It wasn't a monocle, Your Honor. It was a small computer monitor, often used by programmers. A monitor? You mean like a television screen? The inside of the lens is a screen that displays computer data. It's called an HMD. It is a common tool in the victim's line of work.
HD, TV, DVD, CD, all these newfangled letters drive me mad, but they don't matter. I know what I saw and I'm telling the truth. He doesn't seem to be lying. Those are the facts in good old black and white. The boy was wearing... the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. Why does that matters? Left eye, left ear. That's his left eye. Left eye, left ear. The victim was a programmer wore an HMD over left eye. Left eardrum was ruptured. Left eardrum was ruptured. Left eardrum was ruptured. But But, he had a radio in it? I'm not sure what the relevance of this is, but... Mr. Kudo, there is something very strange about your observations of the victim. What? You say he was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the HMD. No question, you can lock me if I'm wrong. It was his left ear without a doubt. I could only see that side of his head from where I was sitting. I don't think so. What did you say? You're no doubt unaware of this fact, Mr. Kudo, but the victim couldn't hear with his left ear. His eardrum was ruptured. Eh? Traces of medication for his condition were found in his ear canal. It's impossible that the victim was wearing his earpiece in his left ear, because he couldn't hear in that ear. Is that true, Captain?
It is.
Pigeon! Pretty pigeon!
Is he singing? Is that the pigeon song? Order! Order! Order!
The witness's testimony is completely unreliable. He only saw the waitress from behind. And he claims the victim was wearing an earpiece when we know his eardrum was ruptured. Well, Mr. Godot?
A single drop of milk is all it takes to destroy the pure black magic in a cup. This old man is my drop of milk.
Captain! Are you calling me a drip?
This is the victim's coffee cup in which potassium cyanide was found. The mark on the rim clearly shows the victim picked it up with his right hand.
I'll never back down! I know I'm right! The lad drank his Javatino with his left hand!
Let me put you out of your misery. Clearly the victim used both hands. He took a sip with the cup held in his right hand and then switched to his left. That's what the old man saw.
Impossible! The witness has already testified on numerous occasions that the victim died immediately after taking just one sip of the coffee.
Which hand the victim used to pick up the cup is irrelevant, Your Honor. The facts still stand. With one hand or the other, Mr. L drank the poisoned coffee like this.
Sadly, Mr. Godot, that doesn't wash. The point of this testimony was to establish whether the witness's memory is credible. And the results are clear. The testimony given by this witness is useless.
I believe it is time to conclude today's proceedings. I am satisfied that the witness is not deceiving the court. But to be frank, his testimony is a farce.
Did you have to be so frank? Take that, you pompous old fogey!
I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo. You can't reach me from there. I'm ordering the defense and the prosecution to investigate this case further. That is all for now. The court is adjourned.
Wait! If we stop now, where does that leave me?
Leave you, Mr. Kudo?
Thanks to that blue-suited young upstart over there, I'm just a bumbling old man who can't even dot his T's or cross his I's now.
How is your bad memory my fault? I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, but there's nothing I can do.
I've kept my mouth shut until now, but there's something else the court should know.
What? There's more?
To be perfectly honest, it might not be anything. But I want another chance. I want another crack at you, you young shark.
Me? He's looking at me like I'm some sort of evil shogun.
Well, everyone, what do you say to one final showdown? The final chapter in this eccentric old man's scrapbook.
Sorry, Gramps. I've already had my 17th cup of coffee.
What have you got to lose, Captain? I'll give you all the Javatino you want if you come to my house after the trial. I may be 68 years old, but Victor Kudo is still a man.
That's enough, witness. I believe it will be quicker for the court to just hear your testimony.
You bet! Much quicker!
I can't believe this is happening.
You better get ready, youngster.
I get the picture. Just quit throwing seeds at me. He's got to be using some sort of infinite ammo code on that box of seeds.
First of all, I want to stress this might be nothing. I'm not too sure of myself. The young boy slumped over the table as soon as he took one sip of his Javatino. That is his right hand. The clumsy idiot upset the vase. He knocked it right over. It broke, and the strip of cloth covering the table got completely soaked. How about that? Turn things upside down, huh?
Is that all?
Yes, that's all. I remember it perfectly. You're doubting me again? A poor defenseless old man?
No, we are not doubting you, Mr. Kudo. Don't you get the feeling there's a question hanging on everyone's lips, Nick? So what is all I can think of, and I have to cross-examine the guy?
You're a bird brain, that's why that's all you can think of.
The judge said something, but I didn't see what it was. I'm sorry.
He knocked over the vase. Alright, let's see. I know there's a crime scene photo in here. No, that's not what I want. I mean, he clearly didn't unless somebody brought a new vase out. Mr. Kudo, this is a photograph of the crime scene. So what? Look carefully at the table. The vase is there, intact. Huh? Lost your tongue, Granddad? I'm no granddad of yours, Hopscotch! Ow!
Enough! If you throw any more seeds in this courtroom, the cleaners will be here all night. What is it now?
I just remembered something.
Yes? Go on?
The broken vase. It was on my table.
What?
Well, you see... It startled me when that young leg collapsed. So I stood up. That must have been when it fell over. The vase on my table, I mean.
The vase on your table?
Yes, it was on my table. And that's how my groin came to be completely soaked.
Godot just looks delighted. Thank you, Mr. Kudo. You've certainly earned your kudos for today.
I'd like to ask a question now. Have I been of any use at all?
Perhaps that's something you should reflect on yourself, Mr. Kudo.
Wait a minute. If that's the case, there's more. I've got more to say. Oh, yes, I remember something else.
Bailiff, escort the witness out of the courtroom.
Wait, listen to me.
Well, we seem to have been considerably sidetracked, and I'm still not in a position to deliver a verdict. The defendant has not yet been positively identified as the waitress in question. Additionally, there are two disparities in the testimony we have heard thus far. The mark on the coffee cup that the victim supposedly drank from with his left hand, and the earpiece, which was inserted into his left ear, out of which he couldn't hear. Wow, Nick, you did it! I therefore require both the defense and the prosecution to further investigate these facts. Yes, Your Honor. There is one more thing before I call today's session to an end. One more thing, Your Honor? The witness we just heard from. He is most insistent that his testimony should be of use, so he summarized it accordingly into this statement. Okay. You may each have a copy of it if you wish. Whatever. The prosecution doesn't need props like that. Godot's really mad, huh? Yeah, I would be too. Very well. Here you are then, Mr. Wright. There are 3 copies, my own, yours, and Mr. Godot's. Yes, Your Honor. When the incident occurred, I broke the vase at my seat. I'm sorry. I'm sorry? This isn't a piece of testimony. More like a 5-year-old's apology. What the heck are we supposed to do with 3 copies? That is all. This court is adjourned. Okay, that was interesting. Okay. So that concludes that episode. My guess is that the girl with the black hair, and the bandage around her head, that she actually was the one who poisoned him. I don't think she looked like Dahlia, but
It's interesting that that's the same poison that occurred in our case with our girlfriend Dahlia. Interesting. So okay, we will pick this up in the next session. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.